Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In today's video we're going to be looking at some completely free-to-play options for the Crystal Beetle teams, because the Crystal Beetle's health is actually going down pretty quickly now that people have found the optimal sort of team comp. So if you're not going to be able to get Reinier to Mythic Plus by the end of the Crystal Beetle boss, I just wanted to make some teams without using Reinier, because my previous team showcase, which I do think is going to be the best option for maximizing your damage for a lot of people, it was involving Reinier at Mythic Plus. And I'll just show that team again to begin the video, and it was this lineup that we have right here. Reinier buffing the attack buff on Corin, and you have Lucius for the shielding, Thorin for the damage, and Thorin protecting Smokey, so Smokey can survive for longer and get off more damage. The keys heroes you want at Mythic Plus here are Smokey, Corin, and Reinier, of course, if you're going to be running Reinier. But now we're going to move on to, and even for this team lineup, I'm not sure, because now people have done more testing, and it seems to be if you can position Thorin and more melee units towards the side of the boss will just target that side, allowing Thorin to deal more damage with his damage reflect, and also preventing the spike from knocking up Smokey. So this is the reason why people are opting for some positioning like this. So maybe this would be, or for example, we would still want Reinier giving the attack buff to Corin, but maybe this would be a better positioning to increase the damage on your boss compared to the team that we showed in our previous video. But now we're going to talk about teams if you don't have Reinier at Mythic Plus. So I think the next best option would be to be running either Smokey or Krueger. But I feel like it's probably safer if we would try this team to begin with. I want to position all of the melee units on the side of the boss so that the boss will target them and prevent the knockup onto Smokey. I think it should be fine, even though Thorin is pretty close to Smokey here. I think the positioning hopefully will be enough that the spikes will just target Lucius and Thorin and maybe Corin, because the other advantage of that is Lucius is going to be shielding them up, Corin will be shielding the frontline allies as well, so they might not even get knocked up by the boss's spike attack. And you have Koko in here, who is going to provide more shielding and damage reduction, which can allow you to survive for longer. The damage sources are Corin is your main damage, but Smokey at Mythic Plus is going to provide a lot of damage, and Thorin actually does the second most amount of damage in this team with his damage reflect. And for this team, you really want to have Corin needs to be Mythic Plus if you want to run him as a damage dealer. So if you're more early game before the new season has even come out, make sure you're at least getting Corin to Mythic Plus from Dream Realm and your wish list. Koko would want to be Mythic Plus ideally for her shielding for your team, because without that she doesn't have shields, but she still would have her damage reduction without Mythic Plus, so maybe you can use her even without Mythic Plus. Thorin would ideally want Mythic Plus for Soul Pact, but it isn't as important as Smokey having Mythic Plus. You want Smokey at Mythic Plus because he will then have his blue aura to deal more damage, and that will contribute a significant amount of damage to the boss. Lucius doesn't even need Mythic Plus, like just his seasonal skill and his ultimate is his main thing, but Legendary Plus would be good because then he gains the Legendary Plus skill at least, but Mythic Plus is not really needed on him. It just gives him shielding for himself, it seems like, which probably won't make too much of a difference. So let's go ahead and test this lineup. So without Reinier at Mythic Plus, let's see how it works, and hopefully this position will be fine. It's a little bit close. Smokey might get targeted. Yeah, Smokey gets targeted with the spike attack. Okay, so it isn't the end of the world, and even in the team that I showcased with Reinier at Mythic Plus, Smokey was getting hit by the spike attack sometimes, but it was still overall fine. We still contributed a lot of damage. The haste and attack buff is normally up, and as you can tell with the Lucius plus Smokey Koko shields, pretty much no one is getting knocked up other than Smokey a few times. And the damage is still very reasonable without Reinier at Mythic Plus. But I think for our final test, we will run Thorin all the way to the right side and Lucius behind the Thorin, and Corin just in the second row without the Soul Pact on Corin. Because as you can tell with the shielding from both Lucius and Koko, there's not really any threat of anyone dying here. Yeah, this is pretty insane that without Reinier Mythic Plus, just using these heroes, 22.2 billion damage. Of course my levels are pretty high, but still, I think this is really impressive. So yeah, Thorin dealt massive damage, Corrin did a lot, Smokey didn't even do that much, so like even if you didn't have Smokey at Mythic Plus, still your Corrin Mythic Plus plus your Thorin Reflect damage is going to be enough to really get high damage numbers. So I think this is a really good option. Probably the best team you can be running, but if I were to try it again, I would probably position like something like this, because Corrin will be jumping around, so having Thorin and Lucius both on the right side should be enough that the boss will then not even spike attack the Smokey, and that could be better. Okay, but I want to try another option, because Krueger is always an option I thought might work out well here, because he will have the physical defense reduction debuff, which will increase the damage that Corrin can deal in the early stages of the fight. So I want to try this. Maybe I wanted to see whether the Lucius shielding will be enough to keep your team safe, and then you wouldn't even need to have your Koko here. Okay, so in this positioning, I do think that the boss will not be spike attacking the Smokey. It looks like he will just be spike attacking Thorin and Lucius, which is probably ideal. Did Smokey already get the blue aura off? That was really quick. Yeah, so this is going to be the positioning you want to run. Thorin on the far side to the right, and then whatever melee tank, if it's Lucius, behind him. And as you can tell, they're having no difficulty surviving. They're also being shielded enough that the spike attack that goes off on them is not even knocking them up. And Corrin is free to damage on the left side, and Krueger, even on the left side, is free without getting ever knocked up by the spike attack. Okay, so looks like the damage is going to be less than with Koko for some reason, even though Smokey is not being knocked up at all in this formation. So Koko is going to be the better option. Yeah. Because Koko also has some skills which increases your damage dealt. It's just interesting how this boss is working. You would think when you have more forms of debuff like the Krueger, it would just be better. Okay. So those are the two free-to-play major teams you should be thinking about running. Probably Koko is just better, as we saw. And I would recommend that you run a team like this. I think this would be the best for you to run if you don't have Reinier at Mythic Plus. Should we try this again with Thorin and Lucius on the side, or should we try a Reinier team in case people have Reinier? Again, if you have Reinier, I think it's very simple. It would be, you would place Reinier over here, and having Thorin and Lucius both on the right side would be enough that the boss will just be attacking that side, and like we just saw in the previous fight, and Smokey will be freely getting off his damage. So this would be, in my opinion, the best layout of this team. You could decide whether you want to run Lucius and Thorin or Koko and Thorin. I don't know which one is better, but I personally really like Lucius. He also, in the seasonal skill, he has his damage boost for your team and also haste boost. So I really like that. I think this would be the best version of the Reinier team. But I think, you know what, we're going to try it again with the Smokey and in this positioning and see if this is going to work better. You can also experiment with Quick Blade spell instead of Evocation spell. Both can be good options, but I think even for me, Evocation spell does or did give me more survivability. So I think for a long time, and honestly, Evocation spell also increases your damage. So probably it is just better to be running Evocation spell to be safe. Okay, so this is the same team as we tested the first round. I think this is the best version of a team you can run without Reinier at Mythic Plus. And the damage is pretty similar. Like, maybe now if I were running Reinier at Mythic Plus, we could get 25 billion damage. But with this team, you should be able to get 22.5 to even 23 billion damage at my level. So it will be different depending on the level of the heroes you have. But yeah. So overall, very interesting teams. I hope this was a helpful guide of what teams you can be running to score higher in the Crystal Beetle. And because I know people want to try to get into the top 200, I believe, or is it top 500 to get the frame, the avatar frame. So this did even less than when Smokey was getting knocked up, but almost the same amount of damage. So really it just comes to the team comp. If you run this team comp, it should do well for you. The rewards are for district ranking. You need to be top 500 to get the frame. Okay, so hopefully you guys will be able to get the frame if you're actively playing it, if that's what you're shooting for. Otherwise, as high as you can get, that is going to help you get the district defeat quicker. And I think honestly we might even do it within 8 days. Already the boss's life is down to 79%, and it's the beginning of the 4th day right now. I think people have really found out the best teams they can be running, and everyone is contributing a lot of damage to the boss, because as you saw, even in the free-to-play alternatives, you get off a lot of damage. But anyway guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was helpful. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, because we upload daily AFK journey videos, and even now we're uploading more than 1 video a day for helping you progress with guides and also any latest updates and news for the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will hopefully see you in the next video, and until then everyone, peace out for now, and thank you for watching.